Hey there, this is Amelia here. Welcome to Amelia's crossdressing story. Today we are going to share a story called Trip to Paris Part 17. By Teddy. For more interesting and exclusive stories, please subscribe to my channel and support me at Patreon. Everyone had brought good things to eat, and they had a very nice dinner. The business meeting was very short. And the entertainment for the evening was a fashion show, with only the crossdressers, male and female, getting up and showing off what they had worn. Jamie was a little reluctant, at first, in getting up in front of everyone, but once she did, it became fun. In fact, she showed off her best model walk. And got a nice, long, round of applause. When Jamie sat back down, Ronnie whispered to her, "Very sexy, lover." "I love the model style walk." Jamie just smiled. After everyone had their turn up front, Sarah got up and said, "All right, ladies and gentlemen. Amber will pass out paper and pencil to everyone, and we'll vote for the best dressed girl and guy." Jamie whispered to Ronnie, "I didn't know this was a contest." "Me either," Ronnie whispered back. After the papers were collected, Linda, Sarah, and Amber counted the ballots. When they were done, Linda got up and said, "Would Jamie and Mike come up here, please?" Jamie looked at Ronnie, and Ronnie said, "Go on. You won fair and square." Mike, a female-to-male crossdresser, was already standing with Linda, Sarah, and Amber by the time Jamie got to them. Mike made a fairly handsome guy, but was about 6 inches shorter than Jamie. Sarah said to the group, "Your votes showed that you felt Mike was the best-dressed man here and that Jamie was the best-dressed woman. And we have for each of them a $50 gift certificate from the changing scene." There was a big round of applause for the two winners. Linda then said, "We also felt that it might be fun to have a dance tonight. Jackie has volunteered to be the disc jockey, and we have some good music to dance to. So, anyone that feels like dancing, please do. But, first, we would like our winning couple to have the first dance. Mike and Jamie, the floor is all yours." Jamie looked at Sarah with a, "What do I do now?" look. Sarah just smiled at her. Mike whispered to her, "I've never danced as a guy before." "I've never danced as a girl with a guy," Jamie whispered back. "I guess, we just need to try, but you'll have to lead." Mike and Jamie tried to dance. Luckily Jackie had chosen a slow song, so it wasn't too bad. They stumbled a bit, as Jamie tried to lead every once in a while. But, eventually, they actually did fairly well. Toward the end of the song, they were joined by others. And, when the song was over, Mike, being a gentleman, thanked Jamie for the dance. Jamie went back and sat with Ronnie, who had been joined by Amy and Linda. And Amy said, "You dance like a natural." "Sure. A natural guy," Jamie quipped. "At first. But you learned to follow really quickly, and you were even somewhat graceful. You just need a taller guy." "No. I need lessons on how to dance like a girl, and I need to dance with Ronnie." "I thought you'd never ask," Ronnie said, as she got up and pulled Jamie back on the dance floor. On the way home, Ronnie asked Jamie, "You had fun. Didn't you love her?" "Yeah. Sort of," Jamie replied. "Sort of. You doing your model walk in front of everyone. You had fun up there. Admit it. And dancing with Mike. I think if he was taller, you would have danced cheek to cheek." "Hey. Cheek to cheek with you, yes." Interesting to see female-to-male crossdressers, wasn't it? I didn't really think there were any. I'd read that there are some, but a lot fewer than male-to-female. You do know Sarah's a lesbian. Don't you? Sarah a lesbian? How do you know? Vicky told me, but I had a feeling about her. A feeling? Sarah was a little too friendly when we were picking out a bathing suit for me. Luckily, they were at a stoplight. Because Jamie turned, looked at Ronnie, raised a questioning eyebrow, and said, "Oh? Just a little too hands-on. Don't worry, lover. You're enough girl for me. I'd better be the only girl for you." "Lover," Ronnie said, with a sly grin, "you're all the girl I need." "Wait. Sarah's a lesbian and married to Mark. Yeah. So? But. Oh yeah, Vicky's a female-to-male crossdresser. And lives most of the time as a guy. She's a. How do you know? She told me when she told me about Sarah. When did she tell you that? The other week, when we had the swim party. And you didn't tell me? Sorry, I was going to. But you got started talking about yourself, and I forgot. You forgot. The girl that remembers everything. So, what did she tell you? She said it started when she was a freshman in college. She had figured out that men had the upper hand in most things. And, since she had always leaned toward being masculine and had actually dressed as a boy any times, she decided that she would try to see what going to school as a guy would be like. So, the summer between her freshman and sophomore years, she started working on a male look. She got a guy's short haircut, stopped wearing makeup, let her eyebrows grow, and figured out what clothes would hide her girl's figure. She also had met Sarah, who was studying voice, and they became lovers. Together they worked on turning Vicky into Mike. She finished her degree as Mike, and lives most of the time as him. But, Vicky comes back to visit. Okay. Mike is really Vicky, who is a lesbian, and who is Sarah's lover. I would have never guessed. Vicky makes a very passable guy. Actually a better-looking guy than a girl. Ronnie was all over Jamie after they arrived home. She finally said, "Love. You know how I said you were all the girl I needed? Yeah. Can I have Jamie tonight? You can have Jamie anytime you want her." That night, the two had one of their long, slow, sexual adventures. And, in the morning, Ronnie awoke to long blonde hair in her face. She smiled to herself and just cuddled up closer to Jamie. A little while later, Jason, still looking like Jamie, rolled over and looked at Ronnie. Ronnie said, "Good morning, lover." "Good morning yourself, love." "Interesting evening." "Very." "You seemed comfortable with yourself." "I was. Because I didn't have to try and hide who I was. Everyone knew I was a guy. But, a very pretty guy. It was fun watching you and seeing you relax more than you have in a long time." "Fun?" "Uh-huh. The more you relaxed, the more you fell into being Jamie. And Jamie was having fun last night." "Yeah. It was a fun evening. I could just be me." "So, you were Jamie?" "I felt like I was last night." "How about after we got home?" "Sort of. I just felt that last night was something special. Not saying that all our times together aren't special, but this was just extra special." "In what way?" "It just felt different. Like it was something that was going to be different, in a special way, and it was. Everything was wonderful. You really like the slow, soft, sensual lovemaking. Don't you? It just makes me happy pleasing you for a long time. Seeing you enjoy everything we try." She gave him a very deep kiss and said, "Lover. You please me in everything we do together." Over the following months, Jason and Sarah got together every week to work on his voice. He worked hard on trying to perfect a feminine voice. Mark/Vicky met with Jason and Ronnie a couple of times and brought Jason to the point of seeing that all his fears about Jamie were really unfounded. Jamie, Ronnie, Amy, and Linda went out a number of times as 4 girlfriends. They also attended a few meetings of the support group and really enjoyed interacting with everyone. Jason was back to being his old self. Then during one of Jason's sessions with Sarah, it happened. He was going through some exercises, and his voice changed to a feminine one. It startled him, but Sarah smiled and said, "Hello, Jamie. What just happened? You changed your voice? Wow. That was strange. Hearing my voice, then hearing a feminine voice. You're used to hearing your own voice when you talk, then it changed, and it sounds completely different. Want to hear what it sounds like?" "Sure." "Okay. But, talk some more." Like what? Anything. Here, read this, Sarah said, handing him a piece of paper. Jason read it aloud, then Sarah rewound the tape recorder, which she always kept running during these sessions. Then pressed play, and Jason heard himself doing the exercises. Then he heard his voice change, the conversation that he and Sarah had when his voice changed, and finally what he had read. Sarah pressed stop, and said, "What do you think?" "It's different. I like it. It's still a little rough. But we'll fix that. Now we have to try and switch it back." "Try? Don't worry. We'll get your male voice back. We just have to find the key. And then work on switching it back and forth, so that you can do when you want to." It took them a little while to find the key to switch his voice back, but then they were able to switch back to Jamie's fairly easy, and then to Jason's again. He and Sarah decided to keep his new voice a secret from everyone until Sarah had a chance to work with him on perfecting it. It didn't take long before Jason was able to switch from his male voice to Jamie's new female voice, and back without a problem. And it didn't take Sarah very long to teach Jason how a woman talks differently than a man. He was a quick study. One day, Ronnie walked into the apartment and was greeted by the smell of dinner cooking. She walked toward the kitchen and heard someone humming a tune. But it didn't sound like Jason, it was feminine. She stopped at the kitchen door and saw Jamie at the counter working on a salad, and the humming was coming from her. She just stood and listened for a few seconds and finally said, "Hi." Jamie, dressed in jeans and a pretty top, turned and said in her new feminine voice, "Hi, lover. What do you think?" Ronnie just looked at her for a few seconds and finally said, "Where did that come from?" "Sarah and I got my voice to change a few weeks ago, and we've been working on perfecting it." "Like it? You can change it back, can't you?" "Sure." "Like it?" Jamie noticed a different look come over Ronnie's face as she answered, "I guess." "You guess." But Jamie now has a voice. She saw tears come into Ronnie's eyes as Ronnie turned and ran to the bedroom. Jamie turned off the stove and ran after her. She found her laying on the bed crying and sat next to her. "Honey. What's wrong?" Jamie asked. Between sobs, Ronnie said, I don't know. I just felt very sad. Like I'd lost something. Something important." "Honey. What? You haven't lost anything." "I know. But I still feel like something's gone." "What's gone?" Ronnie sat up, and Jamie held her. "I don't know," Ronnie said, "but when I heard your feminine voice, it just felt like something was gone. Like I wasn't needed any longer." "Honey. Nothing's gone. I'm still here. Jason's still here. I still love you. And we still need you." "I know, love. But does Jamie really still need me?" "Of course I do. Why wouldn't I?" "I don't know. She's complete now. She can do her own makeup, has a real good fashion sense, and can now speak for herself." "Honey. Jamie is nothing without you. You're her guiding spirit. Why wouldn't she need you?" "I don't know. I guess I'm being silly." "If it's bothering you this much, then it's not silly. We need to talk about this. And it needs to be Jason, not Jamie. Why don't you go finish dinner and I'll get Jason back?" "Okay." During dinner, not much food was eaten, but a lot of things were discussed. When all was said and done, Ronnie had relaxed and realized that she hadn't lost anything. That Jason really needed her, as did Jamie. And that the feeling that she had lost something wasn't real. Just a realization that Jamie had finally evolved. Jason told her that not only was Jamie nothing without her, but that Jason was also nothing without her. "Honey. I'm sorry that I was so silly," Ronnie said. "I wasn't silly, and don't be sorry. You felt something. Something that bothered you. We should have just talked about it, like we finally did." "You're right. So, how do you switch your voice like that? Jamie was back, just the way Ronnie liked her, and Ronnie did see that Jamie really did need her. They were like sisters, one stronger than the other, and leading the way. They went out a few times, and it was nice to see Jamie interacting with other people. That's all for now. See you in the next video. For more interesting stories, please subscribe to our channel, and for exclusive content, please join us on Patreon. Link in the comment.